Okay, let's be honest. We need to start with the massive cinematic uh, ironclad elephant in the room. We all saw the announcement. We saw the green robes, the metal mask, and then it comes off, and I think the entire internet just collectively gasped.
It was the moment that launched 1,000 memes. It probably crashed a few servers. I think
Yeah.
my group chat is still still recovering.
Mine too. But here's the twist, and it's a huge one. I mean, a massive narrative pivot that I don't think a lot of casual viewers really grasped in the moment.
Right, in the heat of it.
Exactly.
Wow.
He is not coming back as Tony Stark. He isn't the genius, billionaire, playboy, philanthropist we spent, over a decade falling in love with.
No, that character arc is done.
He is Victor Von Doom.
Which, if we're looking at the source material in our stack today, is a terrifying prospect.
Terrifying, confusing, and arguably brilliant.
So that's what we're doing, a deep dive into this upcoming behemoth of a film, Avengers, Doomsday.
Slated for December 18, 2026. Not that far away, really. Not at all. And the mission for this deep dive is, I think, simple but really crucial. Because naturally, the second this news dropped, everyone, including me, ran to the comic shop, or, the wiki pages, looking for the Avengers Doomsday graphic novel.
To see what happens next, of course.
And I'm guessing you probably hit a bit of a wall there.
I hit a brick wall, couldn't find it.
And that's because, as we found out in our research, that specific comic book, well, it simply doesn't exist.
Right. And that is actually where this gets really, really interesting. Because since there is no single book of the movie, we have to play detective.
So what are we looking at then?
We're looking at a synthesis, a combination of 60 years of comic history, a confirmed cast list that is, frankly, ridiculous in size, and then these very specific storylines like Secret Wars and Time Runs Out.
So we're going to unpack all of that. We're going to look at the DNA of this film to figure out what we're actually in for, because this isn't just a sequel. This feels like a total recalibration of the MCU.
Consider this your roadmap to the end of the multiverse saga. We're going to connect the dots.
Okay, let's start with the hard facts then. The cinematic context. We know the release date, 2026. But who is actually steering this ship? Because after a few, let's say, rocky years for Marvel, the stakes here feel incredibly high.
They are, and fittingly, the executives went back to the break glass in case of emergency option.
Oh, yeah.
We have Anthony and Joe Russo returning to direct, Stephen McFeely writing the script. These are the guys behind Winter Soldier, Civil War,
Infinity War, Endgame.
the A-Team.
The A-Team, the ones who landed the plane last time.
That feels like a very specific, very strategic move. The Russos are known for managing density, right?
Exactly. They know how to juggle. If you look at Infinity War, I mean, that movie had no right to work.
No way.
It had too many characters, too many locations, too many subplots. But the Russos are experts at traffic control, giving every character a moment while keeping the villain as the protagonist.
And they need to do that here because this is the 39th film in the MCU. 39th. Just say that out loud. It's staggering. And it's serving as a direct follow-up to the stakes established way, way back in Endgame. But the context is key here. Chronologically, based on the production notes we have, this story picks up 14 months after the events of the Thunderbolts movie.
14 months. That's an interesting gap. It implies the world has had, over a year to simmer in whatever political shifting happens in Thunderbolts?
Precisely.
It suggests a world that might already be a little destabilized before Doom even shows up.
The board is already set. But let's talk about the pieces on that board, because when I saw the list of confirmed characters, I had to double-check it. This isn't just the Avengers.
No, calling it Avengers feels like a misnomer at this point. It's a coalition.
A massive one.
We have the core Avengers, obviously Thor, Captain America, Ant-Man, but then you broaden the scope. We have the Wakandans, specifically Shuri, M'Baku.
And then it gets historic. This is the big convergence we've all been waiting for. We have the Fantastic Four Reed, Sue, Johnny, and Ben. And, maybe most surprisingly, the original X-Men lineup. We're talking Professor X, Magneto, plus a group just being referred to as the New Avengers.
It feels like, for the first time, it really feels like all the toys are finally out of the box. X-Men, Fantastic Four, Avengers.
Yeah, these were usually separate legal entities, let alone separate story arcs.
Seeing Magneto on the same cast list as Captain America is just, it's wild.
And that's why the villain has to be who it is. You don't bring the X-Men and the Fantastic Four together to fight like a bank robber or a spy. You need a threat that transcends borders and, frankly, transcends reality. You need Dr. Doom.
Let's unpack the villain then. We know it's RDJ, but the sources are being very specific. He is playing a villainous Venture Von Doom. So this isn't some evil Tony Stark variant.
That's the current indication from all the trade reports. It's a distinct character,
Yeah.
and his power set is, well, it's terrifying. In the comics, and it seems in this film, Doom isn't just a guy in a suit. He is a master of advanced science, rivaling Reed Richards or Tony Stark. But he is also a sorcerer. He's capable of magic that rivals Doctor Strange.
That combination always felt so unfair to me in the books. He's the smartest guy in the room, and he can cast spells. It kind of bridges the two main sides of the MCU.
What do you mean?
You know, the cosmic science-y side and the supernatural magic side. He's got a foot in both.
That's Doom. He doesn't respect boundaries. If science can't solve it, he uses magic. If magic is too chaotic, he uses technology. That versatility is why he requires a roster of this size to oppose him.
He can outthink Reed Richards and outspell Stephen Strange.
Basically, yeah.
Okay, so we've established the players. I want to circle back to that missing source material issue. You said I couldn't find Avengers Doomsday on the shelf because it doesn't exist. So what does that actually mean for the structure of the story?
It implies that this movie is going to be a remix. Think about Captain America, Civil War. There was a Civil War comic, and the movie followed the emotional beats Iron Man versus Cap. But the plot was heavily adapted to fit the movies. Here, they don't even have the title match. They're pulling from the deep, deep lore.
To understand the remix, we probably need to understand the central figure. For the listener who maybe only knows the movies or vaguely remembers those old Fantastic Four films from the 2000s, who is Dr. Doom, really? Why is he the final boss of Marvel?
He's one of the absolute pillars of the Marvel Universe. He first appeared in Fantastic Four #5 way back in 1962.
And he's the ruler of a fictional Eastern European nation called Latveria.
A king.
Or a dictator, really.
Right. Yeah, that's a better word for it, but a complicated one. In Latveria, there's no crime. Everyone has food. But no one has freedom.
But his defining trait isn't his kingdom, is it? It's his rivalry.
It's his rivalry. He has a decades-long, obsessive, all-consuming hatred for Reed Richards' Mr. Fantastic.
Which makes the inclusion of the Fantastic Four in this movie make so much sense. You can't really do Doom properly without Reed.
You can't. They are two sides of the same coin, both geniuses, but where Reed is collaborative and explorative, he wants to, stretch out and see the universe.
Really stretch out. Yeah.
Doom is solitary and controlling. He wants to put the universe in a bottle. That dynamic is the engine that drives almost every major Doom story.
So, if the movie is a remix, what are the tracks? Our research identified 4 specific comic inspirations. I want to go through these because I feel like this is where we crack the code of the movie.
This is the predictive part of the deep dive.
Let's do it. The first theme our research ID'd is multiversal collapse. And the source for this is a massive storyline called Time Runs Out.
Jonathan Hickman's Time Runs Out. This is crucial. If you want to know why everyone is fighting, this is it. The concept here is incursions.
Now, incursions came up briefly in Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. John Krasinski's Mr. Fantastic mentioned them.
He did.
But in Time Runs Out, it's much, much worse, isn't it?
It's apocalyptic. An incursion is when 2 parallel universes collide. Earth smushes into Earth. Both universes die. In Time Runs Out, this isn't an isolated incident. It's happening across the entire multiverse.
Like a domino effect.
Exactly. It's a cascade failure of existence itself. Everything is dying.
And the horror of that setup, if I remember the comics right, is that to save your Earth, you have to destroy the other Earth before they touch.
Yes. It forces heroes to become monsters. It forces the Avengers to ask, do we blow up another planet to save our families? It's an impossible moral choice.
So if we connect this to the movie, this explains the huge roster. This explains why the X-Men are there, why the Fantastic Four are there. It's not a friendly team-up. It's a lifeboat scenario.
That's the most likely setup. It forces these disparate groups together. It's not that the X-Men just decided to visit the Avengers for lunch. It's likely that their reality is crashing into the MCU's reality.
It raises the stakes from saving the city to saving all of existence.
A pretty big jump.
Okay, so that's the why, the catalyst. The next theme is the what. And this brings us to a title that practically every comic fan knows.
Secret Wars.
Secret Wars, exactly.
Specifically, the 2015 run by Hickman, though the 1984 original is iconic too. But the 2015 story is the key here. When the multiverse finally collapses, when time runs out, reaches its end, there is literally nothing left. Just a white void.
Except
for what Dr. Doom saves.
This is where he gets the cool nickname.
God Emperor Doom.
God Emperor Doom, that's quite a title. It implies a level of power way beyond Thanos with the gauntlet.
It is. In the comics, Doom manages to steal the power of these cosmic gods, the Beyonders, and he salvages bits and pieces of different destroyed realities. He stitches them together into a single patchwork planet.
And he calls it Battleworld.
He calls it Battleworld, and he rules it as a god.
So he's not just trying to take over the world. In this scenario, he literally is the world. He's the one who saved it when the Avengers couldn't.
That's the nuance. He saved it, yes, but he saved it in his image. He rules with an iron fist. He erases people's memories of the world that came before. This is the likely template for Doomsday.
It positions Doom not as a terrorist, but as the only thing standing between existence and the void.
A very dangerous and compelling place for a villain to be.
Which is terrifying
Yeah.
because, well, he's Doom, he's efficient, but he's cruel. But let's look at the third theme, because God Emperor sounds very cosmic, very abstract. The third source is a graphic novel called Emperor Doom from 1987. How is that different from the Secret Wars stuff?
Emperor Doom grounds the conflict. In Secret Wars, he's reshaping reality on a cosmic scale. In Emperor Doom, he conquers Earth using a more grounded method.
What does he do?
He uses a mind control device. He actually weaponizes the Purple Man, a villain fans might remember from Jessica Jones, to pacify the entire world.
So no crime, no war.
None. He creates a utopia. He solves world hunger. He ends racial prejudice. But it's a utopia without free will, and the Avengers have to decide, is world peace worth the loss of freedom?
That is a classic philosophical dilemma, the whole benevolent dictator argument.
It is, and while Secret Wars gives us the cosmic scale, Emperor Doom gives us the political how. It shows us what a Doom dictatorship looks like on the ground. It's not necessarily fire and brimstone.
It's order.
It's absolute order, and that's much harder to fight against psychologically.
It's a lot harder to punch world peace in the face.
Precisely. You look like the bad guy for trying to bring back the chaos of freedom.
Okay, so here's where it gets really interesting. The fourth theme. The elephant in the room we started with, Robert Downey Jr. The source material points to a comic run called Infamous Iron Man.
I was hoping we'd get to this one. This is the twist.
In this comic, Victor Von Doom actually becomes Iron Man.
He does. In the comics, after Tony Stark is incapacitated, he's basically in a coma after Civil War II. Doom decides to take up the mantle. He puts on the Iron Man armor. He tries to be a hero.
Wait, he tries to be a hero?
In his own twisted way, yes. He thinks he can do it better than Tony ever did. But here's the synthesis for the movie. We know RDJ is playing Doom, not Stark.
Right.
But Marvel is clearly aware of the visual irony here. They aren't casting RDJ just for star power. They are casting him for the baggage he brings to the role.
It feels like they're using this comic precedent to justify the casting.
Yeah.
Right. It creates an immediate connection for the audience.
Absolutely. Marvel has always played with the idea that Stark and Doom are mirrors of each other. They're both armor-clad geniuses with massive egos, facial hair, and serious control issues.
Stark is the futurist who wants to put a suit of armor around the world to protect it. I mean, that's what created Ultron.
Peace in our time.
Exactly.
Doom wants the same thing. He wants to put the world in a grip to protect it. Stark creates a shield, Doom creates a cage. But the intent is disturbingly similar.
So by casting the face of Tony Stark as Doom, they are making that subtext into literal text.
It creates an immediate, visceral, emotional reaction for the heroes and for us in the audience. Imagine Spider-Man, Tom Holland's Peter Parker, seeing Doom take off his mask.
Oh.
He expects a monster, and he sees the face of the father figure he mourned.
That's heartbreaking. That paralyzes Peter Parker before a punch is even thrown.
It's psychological warfare before the fight even starts. Even if this Doom is from another universe and has never met Peter, the impact on the MCU heroes is undeniable. War Machine, Happy Hogan, Pepper Potts. How do they fight a man wearing that face?
Infamous Iron Man shows us that the line between Stark and Doom is just way thinner than we think.
Exactly.
So putting this all together, we have the incursions from Time Runs Out creating the crisis.
But why?
The battle world from Secret Wars providing the setting.
Oh, what?
The absolute control from Emperor Doom providing the philosophy.
The how?
And the twisted reflection from Infamous Iron Man providing that gut punch of an emotional hook.
That's the cocktail. That's the movie.
What does this all mean for the listener, though? Why should they care about this beyond just, cool explosions? We've seen big CGI fights before.
Because of the structure, we need to look at the bigger picture here. Avengers. Doomsday is not a standalone adventure. It is part one.
Right. It triggers the crisis.
It sets the stage for Avengers. Secret Wars, which is scheduled for 2027. So if we follow the pattern of Infinity War and Endgame, then Doomsday is the movie where the bad guy wins.
Oh, that's a heavy realization.
Think about it. If the inspiration is Doom creating Battleworld, then the movie likely ends with the multiverse collapsing. The screen goes black, and Doom rises from the ashes as God Emperor.
So we're looking at another snap moment, a massive downer ending where the villain is sitting on the throne at the end.
It's highly probable. I'd say the narrative structure demands it. If Secret Wars is the movie about the heroes fighting back to restore reality, then Doomsday has to be about the destruction of that reality.
That matters to the listener, because this isn't just good guys punch bad guys. This represents a convergence of properties, X-Men, F4, Avengers, that were legally separated for decades.
Right.
This story is the narrative explanation for why they are all in the same sandbox now.
It's the grand unification theory of Marvel. Disney bought Fox, they got the X-Men and the F4 back, and now they are using the story of the multiverse collapsing to smash those IP libraries together into one coherent timeline going forward.
It's corporate synergy weaponized as a plot point.
Exactly. But it works because the comics laid the groundwork. And it's treating the audience with enough respect to say, we're going to give you high-concept sci-fi.
I like that.
Time runs out, and Secret Wars are dense, complicated stories involving metaphysics and ethics. Adapting them suggests Marvel is betting on the audience's intelligence.
That's a refreshing take. It's not just fan service, it's narrative architecture.
And remember, with the Russo brothers directing, they excel at balancing those big character beats with these massive stakes. They made us care about a talking raccoon while half the universe was at risk. They can ground this.
True. So we're looking at a film that is essentially a Frankenstein's monster of the greatest doom stories ever told.
A very apt analogy.
We have the political intrigue, the multiverse stakes, and the personal rivalry. As we wrap up this deep dive, it's clear that while Avengers, Doomsday isn't a book you can buy, it is a story that has been building in the margins of the comics for 40 years.
It really is the culmination of the character of Dr. Doom. He's always been the runner-up to the heroes. This is his moment to finally win.
I want to leave the listener with a final thought, something to chew on while we wait for that December 2026 release date. We've talked a lot about Doom as a villain, but you mentioned something earlier about him saving the universe when no one else could.
Yes, and this is the core question that I think will define the movie. In the comics, specifically in Secret Wars, the heroes, Reed Richards, the Avengers, they ultimately fight to restore the multiverse as it was.
Right.
They want freedom. They want chaos in a way because life is messy and unpredictable.
They want the world back the way it was, flaws and all.
But Doom looks at the multiverse dying and says, I can fix this. I can create order. I can ensure survival. He genuinely believes with every fiber of his being that he is the only person smart enough and strong enough to save existence from total failure.
And if the alternative is total oblivion, if the alternative is every single universe dying.
Exactly. So if the Avengers are fighting to restore a broken system that led to the collapse in the first place, but Doom is fighting to maintain the only lifeboat that exists, who is actually the hero of this story?
That is a disturbing amount of food for thought. Is the tyrant who saves you better than the hero who lets you die?
Doom would say the answer is obvious, and he might just have a point.
Well, on that existential crisis of a note, we're going to wrap it up. Thanks for diving deep with us. Start reading up on Secret Wars, folks. It's going to be a wild ride.
Indeed. See you in the multiverse.